right, so I'm still in the Netherlands, and I had a couple thoughts that I thought I'd just kind of brain dump. So I mentioned previously, using chopsticks kind of helps, but in a couple other videos I've mentioned helps to set this kind of fascial usage, right? So if Nick comes over here, by the way, for holding chopsticks, I can put a link in the video. A lot of people do weird stuff. So the most important part is that the bottom chopstick is kind of like held here like this, and you just pinch. And then literally you're just bringing this up and down where the bottom one is supported like this. This creates a very, not unique, but very specific articulation here within the palm. And if Nick grabs me and we just kind of like look at, now I'm not using absorption, front line, I have a little bit of precarious balance on by, just by the years of training that I've done, but in generally speaking, if I just try and go like this, I get shut down. If I grab some chopsticks, then you just hold, like so. And you hold. Obviously, I'm right-handed, and I think most people are. It's going to be a little bit tough, even for me. Okay? But the idea is that when you have your chopsticks here, queued up like this, and now he grabs me. And all I do is I just go, I'm just trying to pick something up. When I pick something up, Nick, how does that feel compared to my fists?
It's light.
Yeah. So notice all I have to do is move this wrist like this. I move this, and down he goes. All right. That's dependent on my body structure. You have to have some conditioning in order to transmit that force cleanly. This is not internal. This is really good physics, really good mechanics. Why am I showing this? Well, it occurred to me, and it's something I do automatically, but I never really, I guess, thought about it too much until it just kind of occurred to me that these two things are the same. So let's say you have somebody support you here, and I put my weight here. And Nick can support this. And if you look closely, when I support my weight, I think I've got a good structure, and you feel kind of like this hip is nice and soft, actually. It means that I can bring this down. Some might say you're dropping the quad or dropping the hips and making a nice posture. But as I apply my weight, this is actually collapsing. Same here. Right in the neck joint, this collapses. On the other hand, if I simply apply this, if I put my forearm here, like this, and I try and apply my weight into Nick, notice here, I no longer collapse. And it's harder for Nick to support my body weight. Now this is something anybody can do. If Nick applies his weight here, and Nick, actually, put your head up, keep a good posture. Otherwise people are like, well, it's bad posture. So he tries to come in like this. It's better, but you see his shoulder comes up, this collapses, you might see this collapse. On the other hand, if he just kind of leans onto me, he has good posture here, and then the contact point is right above the elbow. Not right above, a little bit above the elbow, and he just leans into me. You can see how his weight just comes into me. Now, for something really interesting. Let's look at Seidokan again. And ideally we want a third person here. But if I touch myself here, like this, and I try and come down, I get blocked. If I touch myself on the elbow, I also get blocked. But if I just touch myself right here, something happens to my body. It realigns very differently. Then it's very easy for me to send Nick down. Sorry. So there's a lever effect. And that lever effect is also right here when you do chopsticks. And when you use the tenouchi and you activate this stuff, I think the body organizes itself naturally around that. When you start using, let's call it physical internals for now, the fascia and all this stuff, winding, etc., it will naturally align and do those things automatically. But for now, let's say you touch here, or you even just touch here. If I just touch here, not at the wrist. If I touch here at the wrist, just gently, and I do this, I get locked. If I do this here, a little bit comes in, but I still get blocked. My elbow comes back. On the other hand, if I just touch right here, then my body does something different. Let's look at it from another angle. Take a chair. Now everybody knows, say like something like this, like a Mabu horse stance. If Nick goes and taps me like this, that's my default, right? I rock a little bit. Now I've talked about setting the axis where if I look here to the side like this and Nick taps me, I'm more solid, okay? I can set my axis. For now, we're gonna put that aside. Instead, like this, right? All I do is I touch my elbow here, I touch my elbow here. Just like that. Okay? If I touch my elbow, just like this, right here, now I'm going to align my body kind of to point on my feet. There'll be a separate video, okay? Now you could be towards the heels, it's fine. We just want to measure the difference. So let's say I don't, and I'm just here, like this. I'm not touching. Nick goes in, boom. Okay, then I touch like this. Nick go, boom. I'm not pushing down. In fact, with Nick, gradually I want you to give me a little bit of pressure here. As long as I can maintain this contact here, I'm fine. Now let's look at something. If I just give myself just a cue here directly on my elbow, Nick, you're going to do, oh yeah. Like I can't hold it at all. We can observe, actually, we can observe the same thing here with the fists. If my fists are right here on, and he pushes me, my hips collapse. On the other hand, if it's right here, it's like way easier for me to calibrate to. So what does this mean? It means that you want to be able to bring this awareness here and here and really study that. This applies to agete, this applies to sagete. I mean, one trick that sometimes I show is actually, so if you just go like this, doing, 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 like this, and you just hit this point right here, you actually do something similar to this. Personally, I actually like this cue a little bit better, but playing with both is good. It matters in strikes. You can even test this here for strikes, where if I push in, like so, if Nick is solid here, and I push in like this, you can kind of see how this jam comes into my shoulder. On the other hand, if I just cue myself by touching here, then my brain organizes itself around that lever point and goes directly in. Just some food for thought. Remember, to me, these are kind of additives, but they give quick results and at least give you a visceral sense for, depending on where your brain recognizes like a certain point, it will remap its organization like completely. So, just some things for you to mull about. I'm giving more seminars here in Europe. I'm also going to be opening an online coaching or online, I guess you could say, like a training curriculum and maybe group sessions and private sessions as well. More information will be coming. Feel free to reach out to me or the guys here in Europe. We'll put links down in the video. Thanks for watching.